Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's get TikTok. How is everybody? I hope you have an amazing Sunday. So, today we're talking about particular actions that I would not tolerate with men, and I hope you wouldn't either. Now, I'm going to go through them and we'll see whether you agree with me or not. So, some of those actions I never tolerated, some of them I did. But I stopped tolerating. Now I'm not as intolerable as I used to be. I understand that sometimes people don't know me yet, or maybe they don't know, or they're trying to kind of to find out how far they can go with me, how far they can push me. But I will tell you that it's a very short played game. So I might tolerate it for a little bit until I would be done with tolerating any kind of any one of those. So I'm going to go through them in no particular order. Tell me if you want to add anything. Maybe there are something, but I'm telling you my experience. You know what kind of what I feel like I wouldn't tolerate. Maybe for somebody it would be a normal thing, but I think in normal relationship none of this should be present either from a woman or from a man. So it should be, remember that relationship first of all is a communication between two people, as somewhat similar to communication between two gods. So you have to have a particular respect and admiration and kind of particular borders that you cannot cross. Now, when you overstep those borders and when there is no respect or kind of um, respect or admiration, this is what happens. That's when these actions start happening. So, if you are always on the level of two gods, of a god and a goddess, this will not happen. It happens only when again. Somebody oversteps the borders, somebody maybe allows to overstep those borders. All right, so let's start. And the first one that I would not tolerate, and you would think that I am maybe a little too dramatic, but the first thing that I wouldn't tolerate is forgetting important dates. So, forgetting something that's important for me. And one thing that if somebody will forget an important date, is something that is important for me, that's fine. You know, I mean, things happen. I don't always remember, unless Facebook reminds me about somebody's birthday. I could forget myself. I remember that somebody has a birthday that particular day, but often I forget. So that's fine. But when when a man will be like pretending that it's not important, or he will like laugh it off, or maybe just simply will say, well, this is, it's not, you shouldn't be celebrating, like someone say, well, Valentine's Day is just a day to, to get people out of money. Okay, maybe, but if for me Valentine's Day is important, then maybe you can do something about that. So it's not that the person could forget the particular dates that would hurt me, that I would not tolerate. It's them treating like it doesn't matter, like diminishing my feelings and my expectations would not do for me. If I like Valentine's Day, I don't, honestly, personally. But if for me it's a whole, and I expect something and I prepared for it, then please kind of act accordingly. I understand, and look, I always socialize with masculine men. I understand that men can forget, but if they're willing um to make it up for me, I mean, then fine, you can be forgetting all you want. So and I'm not sure. I had a friend. She got this boyfriend, and he used to say, "I'm the best present you could ever have." So I would not do this. This is just not working, and I don't think anybody should tolerate this kind of behavior, unless the man is absolutely always like super generous and always giving gifts, and then maybe it's okay to let him slide this time. But for the most part, I would not tolerate it. This just doesn't. It's not right. It's not about the gifts. It's about acknowledging something that's important for me. That's it. I'm not very needy, but particular dates should be acknowledged. I mean, well, ladies, right? All right. So the second one that I would not tolerate in men, and I actually had a video, 7 ways a man will drain you, and I mentioned this there. So a man who is getting jealous, getting upset, getting offended, but not doing nothing. So A man who would be like, oh, who are you talking to? Or who is this guy that's liking your stories? I mean, it hardly ever happens to me, but the couple times that it happened, it really bothered me. First of all, because what is your business about who is liking me and who's not? Make sure that you're doing enough for nobody else to to step in and claim me as their prize. And I would not do this. I think jealousy is extremely, especially excessive one, especially too much emotions and neediness. It's very shows not men who are very insecure, who are not very um, I'll tell you. Um, Men who are insecure, I mean, a secure person will not really care who I'm talking to or not talking. And I do want to admire a man. So if a man is insecure, how can I admire him? I don't like it even in women. I don't like it I don't even like when I'm slightly jealous or maybe I'm a little insecure. I don't. So why would a man who is supposed to be the strong, confident person could be jealous? So I don't tolerate that. I don't like it. I don't like it in others. I don't like this kind of weakness, the display of this weakness, emotional, this kind of manipulation. Oh, I know you like him more than me. Like maybe if you would be talking like this, who knows? I probably will. How much did it bother you, and what made it better? What bothered the jealousy part? Nothing. I mean, I had to change the man. Man who was secure were much better for me, and there's just nothing else. I mean, if you have problems with jealousy, then you need to work with that. But I'm not the person who will help you to heal unless I'm your mentor. As a woman, I'm not going to be feeding onto your ego and trying to prove you that you're the only one. I mean, if you are acting accordingly, you will be the only one. What kind of woman will want to change men? I mean, if she's admiring you, I mean, you're the only one. So I hope it helps. Insecurities need to be dealt with. Remember, jealousy is always a fight for scarce resources. So you believe that there is not enough for everybody, and this is not true. There is always enough for everybody. So just work with that and be confident. But I would not tolerate that any longer. I don't do this. A man who is insecure, and then I have to waste my effort, my energy to make him feel secure. It's not right. It shouldn't be like this. A relationship is not built on that. If I will be doing that for him, then I will not admire him. I will just feel sorry for him. I will try to make him better. If I will like that he's jealous, then this is just a sick kind of way of me knowing that he's somewhat interested in me. So either way, it's not right. All right. So the third thing that I would not tolerate with the man is not clarity in conversation. So I'm not a big talker unless I'm here on live, but in the relationship, I don't talk much, and I don't expect men to talk much, but I do need clarity. And I think everybody does need clarity. Masculine men usually are very clear. Men who are not very masculine sometimes could be like a little bit here and there, and this is what, of course, so do you. This is what I wouldn't like. Like, for example, when I tell a man, hey, do you want to go next weekend to Naples? We can drive there, and he will tell me something. Well, let's see. Okay, you know what? Let's see. Maybe you will see, but I am going to Naples, so I'm planning something. I'm not sitting and waiting until on Saturday you will tell me, yeah, let's go. Let's not go. I mean, this is just a disrespect to my time and to my obviously emotions and my anything. Now I understand in particular. Thank you. In particular situations, like for example, if I tell a man, this is something that I would like to get as a present, and he's telling me, let's see. Okay, I understand. Maybe he needs to kind of to look at his budget. Maybe he can see. Maybe he wants to give me something better. I understand all this. So in this way, I would kind of I would let it maybe slide. I would at least see what he prepared. So if I have a birthday coming up, and I told him, well, this is the present that I would want to receive, but it's really up to you. And then he gets me something better, then I would probably be appreciative of that. I mean, the man is showing his interest, but if he is not getting me nothing and left me with that, well, I will see what I can do, then maybe maybe not, maybe this will not work. So again, all this. I'm not a little kid, you see. I don't depend on you, so don't make me sit there and hang and wait for your word. Don't make me hooked on something, I wouldn't. I don't have no patience, no tolerance for that, and no woman should. But I used to, you see, I used to hope and wait for a man to spend his day off with me or his time with me. Like I would come home from work and I would get ready, and I would hope and wait that he will call me and he will like, hey, let's go to dinner or somewhere. And it's never, it obviously never worked in my favor, because when the man would finally show up, I would be all angry because I'm sitting there and waiting. So nobody should do that. And don't allow anybody to leave you hanging. Communication should be clear. Yes, yes, no, no, yes, maybe no. I mean, something like this. It's, do not like that. There was a trend on TikTok. I told him, let's go to Italy, and he said, we'll see. I don't know what he will see, but I'm in Italy. So there's something similar, like, okay, like if there is no clear communication, then I'm making my plans and I'm continuing my life as I see fit, unless you prove me somehow different. So again, it's a really like very manipulative kind of tactic and game. Thank you very much. You do as well. So it's a very manipulative game, and do not buy into this. So again, if a man is not clear in his communications and there is no really no explanation to that, then maybe this man shouldn't be in your life. So I wouldn't tolerate none of that. I mean, I'm pretty clear in my communications, even though I'm feminine and I could be, emotional. A man can be and should be clear in communication, at least. So even if our communications do not match, at least I will respect him for being clear and not wasting my time and not wasting his time and not leading me on for something that will never maybe happen, or that he's not even planning to make happen. So this I will not do as well. All right. So the third one is I would not probably be with the man and not tolerate the man who does not plan anything. So, and not necessarily dates, but who does not plan. And I could observe him in his life. Is he planning anything in his life at all? So a man who does not plan is basically not serious about himself, not serious about me. He's not trying to impress me. So why would I even bother? I don't mind to help planning. I don't mind to give some particular suggestions. But if a man is not doing nothing, he basically just taking what I'm offering. I mean, I do not say that it's necessarily that he's not interested in me. He might be just going along for a ride. As long as I'm tolerating him, he will stay with me. As soon as I'm not tolerating, he's just moving on. So I would observe that. I would really observe, and that's why maybe every time I go on a date, even though I can take Uber, I can drive, I always tell a man, please pick me up. So at least I see that the man is ready to do some kind of efforts. If he's not even ready to provide a transportation for me, then this conversation should not go anywhere. Again, a man who does not plan is not a man for me. I wouldn't even be with. I don't even have friends who don't plan nothing, who don't have some kind of plan for their future, for their life, for their relationship. So why would I be with the man that I would count for security on if he is not planning nothing? So usually this happens when a man is just not interested, when he is just going along for a ride, and he's not really trying to impress me anyhow. And yeah, why would I be with a man like this? I mean, obviously, I'm not really making him feel so amazing that he's not even trying to impress me. Okay, so another one that I would not tolerate is any disrespect toward my family, friends, pets. If I would have, I don't have pets, but if I would have, so if maybe you have children, if you have children, so also the same thing. So now I understand that my kind of circle of people is my circle of people, but you don't have to love them, you don't have to admire them, we don't even have to talk about them, any of them. But these are important people or creatures in my life. So please at least be respectful. So any kind of disrespect towards them will not do. And I will tell you, I will be fully transparent. Sometimes I was disrespectful to somebody else's family. How was that? Like, for example, I had a man who had issues with the relation with his parents, and I would always be on his side, and I would always kind of criticize his parents when we were talking with him. And I understand it now. At that time, I didn't. At that time, I was like, why is he getting upset? I'm on his side. I'm protecting him. And I understand that. no matter how much they fight, these are still his parents. He still loves them. They're his roots, so he has maybe codependency with them, but it's still his parents, so he will choose them over me if I will be pushing too much. So, or I will become his parents, because this is obviously unhealed trauma that he has with his parents. So, but at that time I also was, I had a man who had kids, couple kids, and I also was trying to compete with kids. Again, it was a very wrong thing. So, I never was disrespectful. I mean, these are kids, so you can't really, but still I was competing, and this was not right. So do not do that. And also, I usually don't date men with pets, especially if they're like sleeping with their pets, like taking them on dates and everywhere, because I'm not going to be competing. I know this pet is important for you, but I'm not here to compete with the dog or with the cat. So again, but this is me, and I would never tolerate this from a man. So if a man is, again, you don't have to love my family, you don't have to love my friends, you don't even need to mention anybody, but do not speak anyhow about them, because you don't know them. And for me, these are important people, important in my life. Somehow at this point they are important. And to tell you the truth, man who never really interfered in my relationship with my family, luckily I have a good relationship with my family, with my friends. They stayed long, and even now I'm friends with a lot of them. Those who were trying to kind of persuade me that my friends are not maybe that good, those that were trying to kind of to interfere in my relationship with my family, are out of the picture fully and completely. And maybe because of that, maybe they were thinking that they're a little better than than my immediate family. So again, I would not tolerate it, and you should not either. And if you think, oh, but the man is just trying to protect me, no, he's not trying to protect you. He's trying to cut off all the ties around you, so then you will be all by yourself, vulnerable, and then he can manipulate you as much as he wants. Remember, your family, there is for a reason for you. They're helping you to develop. Your parents is as unsatisfactory as they are for you, they still your roots. You will never have different roots. Your man will never become a root for you. He can become a support system, but will never be your root. So you always need to heal the relationship with the parents first, and only then move in life. So anyways, I would not tolerate that, and I would make sure that you don't do that either. I would, honestly, I don't know whether I would respect a man who would allow me to speak badly maybe about his friends or his family, and would be just like, oh, that's fine. I What kind of pushover are you? Why would I want a man like this? So I wouldn't tolerate this. And again, from I would not do that myself as well, and you shouldn't either. This is important. Now from here, I would not tolerate when somebody is like maybe diminishing, laughing at my upbringing, at my standards and my manners. Now, um, I understand that some people might not know me. If I'm only getting to know a man, he might not know anything about me. But look, that's why we're getting to know. Like, don't push my buttons, get to know me, and then maybe try to kind of. But somebody who will lucky for me, it never really happened to me that much. It happened a couple of times maybe, but like for example, I'll tell you. I was in the restaurant with the guy. I was traveling. I was in the restaurant, and I'm somewhat shy, right? I would say I'm not very outgoing like that. So we were in the restaurant. There was a band, and they would go from Thank you. They would go from table to table, and I'm like, my God, I hope they're not coming here. So they were not, and so the guy, he's like, I'm going to call them, and I'm like, no, don't do this, please. I would be so embarrassed. And but the guy didn't listen to what I said. So he's like, okay, I'm going to the bathroom. I guess he didn't go to the bathroom. He went, he paid them, and he dragged them with him. And they were singing, they would try to drag me to dance and everything. And I was mortified, so more you can imagine. I mean, it was I was so embarrassed, and I was embarrassed. I was so sad that the man who was supposed to be my protector, I'm traveling, I'm in a different country, he actually exposed me to this kind of experience. I know it's nothing bad, but for me it was, because I was so. Anyways, the guy is amazing, and everything is good, and we're still talking to him sometimes. But I never gave him a chance because of that. You see, because he was he laughed at my manner of communication. I didn't want to be exposed like this, and he didn't take me serious on that. So, but anything like if somebody would be it never happened to me, but somebody told me once she was dating a native, like a person who was born in the United States, and he was always making fun of her accent. I mean, I don't know how would I live with that, honestly. And she had this inferiority complex because of her accent, because he was always making fun of it. So this is obviously not right. She knew like 5 languages, he knew only one language, and he was laughing at that. I mean, it was just, it was not. It would not never work for me. I'm surprised that she was staying with him, and she even considered marrying him. So I don't know. This is crazy. But this is something I would not tolerate, and you shouldn't. Again, also your manners, your standards do not allow a man to kind of to laugh at that. To, you know, I understand that maybe our standards do not match, our manners do not match, but it doesn't mean that mine are not as worthy of considering as yours are, something like that. So remember that. All right. So another thing that I would not tolerate with man, and this happens often with masculine men, is when a man never admits his faults and never apologizes. So, or only apologizes when I'm already like crying or hysterical, you know. This is it's not good. Again, it's not good if I would be hysterical in hopes that he will apologize. This is also not good. I mean, obviously not very right, but I do appreciate when people are grown up enough to admit their mistakes. And I understand, man, especially masculine men, they need validation. They don't want to be, they're afraid of rejection, they're afraid of being maybe wrong sometimes. I understand all this, but if you are strong enough to accuse me of something, to say something, then you must be strong enough to admit that you were wrong, but to apologize for that. Again, as you know, I tell all my clients, don't like say sorry all the time. I don't say sorry almost ever. But if I'm wrong, I will admit that I'm wrong. Thank you. I would mention something like, you know, look, I did say some wrong things. It was wrong of me. At least something, you know, at least acknowledge that, so I wouldn't feel stupid, you know. And I would not tolerate that. Like I would not. Again, before I would be getting upset and very emotional and everything, until a man will say yes, you know, I was wrong, fine. But right now I wouldn't even do that. You know, if you could not admit, then let's just take a break and see. Maybe at one point you will admit what it is. Again, I'm not an argumentative person. I don't like to argue. I don't like to have conflicts. But if I know if you are doing something and you are not strong enough to say that you're wrong, but to apologize, then just we are not, you know. How I'm going to have a relationship or kids with this man if he could not even admit that he's wrong? So again, I don't ask him to beg forgiveness on his knees, but at least admitting that he could have been wrong would be enough for me, at least at this point. So, but I would not tolerate that. Okay, so the next one is obviously I already mentioned this, but expecting wife's benefits or fiance benefits when without any particular status. If a man is not really showing that that I am in the particular level, then he's getting minimum as well. You know, like for example, if a man is um, I wouldn't do that. But if, for example, I will ask him, hey, you know, where I was standing, I mean, what I would dating, I'm exclusive, I wouldn't do that simply because I'm really not even looking for that. But if I were looking for something like that, and the man is like, well, I'm not sure. I mean, we just dating. Okay, so if we're just dating, then we're just dating. You know, don't expect me to come and cook dinner at your place, you know, and watch Netflix. Then let's just go on dates and enjoy our time together, and that's it. Now, this is very important. I see women who are happy to kind of play house and everything in hopes that a man will appreciate and at one point he will do something. But the man masculinity is ego driven. Remember, if they do not claim in you now, then you're simply are not you're not, I wouldn't say good enough, but in their perception you're not good enough to be in that particular on that particular status level. So they will entertain you. There is a saying in my culture, when there is no fish, even the crab is a fish, you know. So they will entertain you for a particular amount of time just to kind of until something better comes around. But again, that would not be me. Like if I like somebody, okay, so we can spend time together, we can go to lunches together, but do not expect me to do anything unless I'm something bigger than that. But I would feel that I wouldn't even be with the man who's not really who doesn't see me worthy. But I know women, well, not now, but I used to know women who would do that, and I actually know one till now. She's really into this man. He's very successful, wealthy, young, handsome, but he's kind of, I wouldn't say hiding her, but he's not acknowledging her much. But she's hoping that at one point he will change his mind. And I tell her all the time, you need to work on your energy, not hoping to convince him that you're good enough to be his girlfriend. So, but I wouldn't tolerate that. That's a no. Even in the relationship, I hardly ever do anything extra. So that's just how it is. All right. Another thing that I would not do, and that happened to me only once, only one time, and doesn't really happen to me at all. Maybe because men kind of feel that I wouldn't even think about that, but I wouldn't be with the man who kind of make jokes of, I wouldn't say replacing me, but maybe entertaining other women, And yeah, I don't know, maybe some women will get motivated with that, but not me. If a man will say something like, it was only one time I told you, and somebody, it was the guy I was dating. I was really low on the energy at that time, and I remember he said he was always trying to bring his secretary at the company where he worked or something like that. So there was a woman that he worked, and he would always kind of, maybe I should consider her. Maybe it was always a joke, kind of a joke, but that joke made me very like this, I always was on my guard. I always was afraid that what if he will choose that secretary? Who knows? Maybe there was no even that woman, but he made me very aware of myself at that moment. So I would try to please him just to make sure that he wouldn't choose me over that other woman that I never even met and I don't even think she was there. But right now, I would never tolerate it. Never. You are talking about another woman, go there. I mean, no hard feelings. Like, I mean, this is like you're free to go anywhere. If you're already comparing, if you're considering, then go. Then I'm already not the priority, and I don't even want to be too invested with you. So I would never tolerate a man who jokes anyhow about going out with somebody, about having a relationship, about open relationship, about all this kind of crap. I would not tolerate that at all. It's even comical to think about this right now, and I remember when it was not comical, but when it was scary. So if a man will mention something like this, okay, then go, go. Like I do it so fast and so oh, that's so nice. Reiki, right? It's just so like the conversation will be very short, and then you will have to convince me that you would really actually, that you were not serious and everything. I mean, it would take you time because, and I understand if I would say, and I remember I used to do it to men, I wouldn't do something like that, but I would mention something. Oh, like if we would be arguing or he was not doing something, I'm like, there are men that I really want to be with me that are trying to impress me, and he like, well, why are you not dating those men? Then date them. And he knew that I wanted him, but he didn't know how to kind of push me. How I didn't know how to push him to impress me more. So, anyways, don't do that and don't tolerate that. Those conversations are silly, very childish, and disrespectful. Whether it's a joke or not joke, you still should not be allowing this kind of talk. All right. So the next one is. Oh, from here, mentioning if a man is mentioning his ex, and basically his ex, so if a man compares me to any woman in his life, it's the same thing. I would not tolerate. Like, for example, oh, my mom cooks so good and I always loved her cooking, why don't you cook or something? Or my ex was so calm and so peaceful and you are not, okay. She's your ex for a reason, maybe because she's so calm, you're not in her life no more. So any kind of comparison to any woman in his life, any important, significant woman in his life will not do. So the truth is, to comparing to any woman will not do. I mean, and me, if you're not accepting me for me, then maybe we shouldn't even be socializing. Then it seems not enough for you to be satisfied with this. So anyways, any kind of comparison to, honestly, it didn't happen to me. It happened once, not with an ex, but he was comparing me to a friend of his. I don't know what was, but for the most, I think he was like thinking that that would be a perfect girlfriend. But again, that perfect girlfriend didn't want to be his girlfriend. So anyways, it didn't happen to me much. Also, I was dating this guy. He was comparing me to his mom. He was very mama's boy. But again, it didn't work then. It would never work now. I don't want to compare any man to man in my past. I don't think so. There is a reason why they're in the past. So like I wouldn't do that. So if somebody would do that to me, that's an immediate deal breaker. Now what you got to, this is you wouldn't make me into your mom. You wouldn't make me into your ex. It's just, it doesn't work. And I hope you also do not compete with the ghost from his past. That will not do. You will just overexhaust yourself. Better focus on yourself and let him and let him just be with you because you are his. All right. The next one is this is very important also. When a man is not very affectionate in public, but affectionate when we're one-on-one. And let me clear this. If a man has a particular cultural or religious upbringing, maybe he's from a very conservative family, from very conservative culture. I understand. I'm not very affectionate in public. Also, I don't like the display of public display of affections. I don't. But if a man never holds my hands, never even acknowledge me much when we're in a company, but then he's like all into me when we're just one-on-one, then I would start thinking about this. What is it? Is he embarrassed of me? Is he is he not wanting to show that he's considering me for something more important? When a man is in love, he wants to tell the whole world about that. Now, and this happened twice in my life. It was twice. So the first time was a man, apparently. So I'm not going to tell what kind of religion he is, but his mom was kind of looking for a perfect bride for him, and he wanted to keep his reputation kind of clear. So everybody seemed like knew that we were dating, but yet he would not. Outside of his apartment, his condo, we were not really like holding hands or hugging or nothing. So we'd go to dinners, we would do this, we would do that, but never really were. And at that time, I didn't know. I thought he was just very respectful, But but when the bride showed up, I mean, I understand that he was not. So again, the second one was a man. It was his culture, and again, even though it was his culture that he didn't really like this kind of display. I mean, he was very protective of me, but he didn't. I understand why he didn't, for the same reason. So he was not there was some kind of complications on his family side, and he didn't want to be perceived that he's very involved with somebody. He told me that he was protecting me by blah blah blah. I know how it goes. So anyways, that I'm a Reiki master. I'm very intuitive because I'm manager of water, so I feel that right away. So again, I'm not like hugging and kissing in public all the time, but if a man is not even allow me to hold his elbow when we walk in, then we shouldn't be even seen public at all. Like I'm not hiding. I'm If I'm with the man, whoever he is, I'm proud to be in his company. Even if it's just a friend, I'm still proud to be. So I would not like if I'm not proud to be with the man. If I do not admire him, then I shouldn't even be with him. I mean, what's the point? Why would I even go outside if I'm not? It's like it doesn't make no sense. So I would not tolerate that. That's obviously nobody should tolerate that. I wouldn't want a man to tolerate that either. So if I'm with him and I'm trying to kind of make sure that none of my friends is around and see me with him, I mean, what kind of sick communication is that? I mean, this is just not normal. If we're having some kind of arrangement, then maybe we shouldn't even go in public and just be maybe meeting somewhere else. All right, so let's move on to the next one. This usually happens with the feminine man. When a man is depends on his moods very much. So sometimes he's super affectionate, sometimes he does not acknowledge you for a few days. Again, this doesn't happen to me. Why? Because I'm emotional, so it won't work with me. These roller coasters are not motivating for me. I would rather cut the cords very fast than to be with the man who is like this. But I see in my friends who dated with men and who are like this. So sometimes they're absolutely like all into romance and everything, and then one day they're like, oh, let's break up, and then next day they're again together. And I mean, it's like on and on like this, and I would not tolerate that. That's obviously that's not healthy, that's not right, this shouldn't be like this, nobody's life. So again, masculinity is known for its strengths, for its actions, for its kind of secure kind of demeanor. If your man is not like that, then it's either he does not see you as very important, or he's simply he's not trying to hold on to you. It's like no other explanation why a man would act like this. Or he's trying to manipulate you, he knows that you are very much into him, so he's trying to kind of give you trying to train you like like Pavlov was training his dogs. He's giving you a little affection, you fall in love, and then he takes you away from you, you're like all nervous, or and then he brings you again, you again falling in love with him. This is wrong, do not do this. A man needs to be somewhat consistent. I understand that masculinity is very linear, it goes up and down, but it shouldn't be with you. Let him go up and down in his business or in his work, with his friends, with anybody, not with you. You are a woman, you're supposed to be protected and cared, and not been treated like that. So I hope do not tolerate that. As I said, I never tolerate it simply because I don't know what it is. It's usually feminine men who need validation from women. They are unstable in their emotions, and they feel like when they act like this, that you are running after them, they feel like they're somewhat amazing. This they are not. So all right. So the next one is when when a man, so what I wouldn't tolerate, when a man is making me feel bad about my wishes, desires, my standards. It So when a man in any way, like depending on, I'm not talking about material right now, I'm talking about anything. So for example, I do not want to go eat pizza. I want to go have maybe a salad, but just to sit down in a cafe and everything. I don't want to grab pizza and just walk and eat it. I don't want this. And if a man will be like, oh my god, you're so bougie, now you need to go sit down, this and that. Okay, look, it's if you do not want to go sit down and eat with me, then it just like, do not put me down because you have that your standards are different. I don't mind you to have different standards, but it doesn't, like, do not put my standards down. Yeah, maybe, okay, so yeah, maybe I'm a little bush, so what now? Like, there is a reason why you like me, maybe because of that. So, or for example, if I want a particular I don't know, particular shoes, a particular bag, and the man is like, "Oh, why would you want to have such a look?" Anybody who will speak like this will not be in my life. You're like, what is your business? What I want? I mean, if you could not contribute, then don't even interfere. And again, most of men would not act like this. It's very rarely that a man will really put your standards down like this, put your desires and wishes like this. Very rarely. I hardly ever meet it. Thankfully, all my friends, all my even my clients, my acquaintances, thankfully have good men that are, it's one thing that you could not afford, maybe something that I want. That's okay. I mean, I don't really have these expectations. But another thing is when you're trying to put me down, so you don't need to contribute to that. This would be very bad. I would not tolerate that at all. As I said, I wouldn't tolerate it from myself. I wouldn't tolerate it from my friends, from my family. Why would I tolerate from a random man who is trying to actually impress me? So no, this would not be tolerated. Okay. Another thing that I would not be that I would be careful about and maybe not tolerating is when a man is. Remember how I mentioned that when a man is affectionate in private but never affectionate in public. So I would be very careful with the man who is on social media. I don't have men like this. I have, all men that I know are very. Are not very public, and they don't really post that much. But if I have a man who is posting and posting and posting, but never posting me, posting everybody else but never me, or posting me but never posting me as somebody in his life, somebody significant in his life, then I would be careful with that. Like, I would look into this. Again, there might be different reasons. Like me, you never see me posting a man, but I don't make it. But it's for everybody, Like, it's just because my social media, I'm more talking about what about energy, about manifesting. So it's not really about. I don't even post my family, my immediate family. So why would I post the man there? I understand this, but if I see a man who is posting everybody around but me, then I would start considering, what is that? I mean, is it he's protecting our kind of relationship? He doesn't want it to be spoiled, or he's basically trying to hide me, doesn't want to acknowledge me publicly or something like that. I would look into this. I would really look into this. Again, it doesn't happen to me at all. Why? Because most of men who I know are not on social media, and those that were on social media, they would put me gladly, and I was the one who's like, don't put me there, we're not yet that official to be put together. So, but I have friends who had problems with that, and there was a reason. I had a friend that was dating a guy for 3 years, and he never wanted to be, he didn't want her to put them together. He never put them together. He was single on all his social media at that time. Facebook was kind of popular, and then she found out that he was married. um, Thank you. And so there was a reason why he didn't want to put her on social media. Nobody knew about her. So again, I would look into this. It's not for everybody. Again, I know a lot of people who don't put their relationship at all on social media because for privacy. I mean, I think that would be me, because I never really did. One time I did, and I didn't want it. It's the guy who convinced me, and I really was. When the time came to take him off, it was a very embarrassing conversation with all my relatives and friends. So again, I wouldn't do it. But if the guy on purpose excludes you, then maybe something is off, and I would look into that, and I would not tolerate that. Like, really, really, really. Like, I had a colleague, her boyfriend, basically they would take pictures together, and then he would photoshop her off, and he would put himself only, and you can still see that he's kind of like almost hugging somebody. It was very strange, and he would never give a clear answers why not, and obviously nothing serious came out of that relationship. Okay, so the next thing, I would not. So I would be careful with this. So when a man is criticizing something about my body, now I would not criticize a man. If a man's body is not really up to my standards, then I would probably not be with him. So, but it's depending on. So if a man is gaining weight and I see that, maybe I would kind of be I would hint him something. I would tell him, like, you gaining weight, you look better when you were lean. But I would be very careful. So, but this is something that a man can change. It's something that I can change, and I would appreciate when somebody would tell me, maybe not man, but I mean, at least a hint would do good for me, But if a man would be criticizing my body, like something that I could not change, like for example, I have freckles, and I live in Florida. What I'm going to do? This is, I put a lot of sunblock, but sunblock is not often enough. So I will always have freckles. If a man will be telling me, "Oh, I don't like your freckles," I mean, well, too bad. And you need to move on. So criticizing any kind of like my body parts that could not be changed, or that needs to be changed only with a particular um operations or something, is will not do. You see, I'm a woman, and he liked me. He went for me for a particular reason, So if right now he wants to change this and this in me, look, first of all, I'm not a project, You don't need to. Second, what if he will change, and then he suddenly doesn't like me no more? I mean, again, he came to my life because I looked particular way. So who knows? Maybe if I would look a different way, he wouldn't even be interested. Again, I would be very careful with that. Again, I appreciate honesty. I'm not the, I can see when I'm gaining a couple pounds here and there. I'm I feel heavy. It's not really a good feeling, and I wouldn't mind if a man would kind of mention something like that. But when a man will be like, oh, maybe your nose, maybe your eyes, maybe your hair, maybe your ears, and like nonstop, no, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. I will tell you, I knew somebody. She was my client in my previous career, and she was changing herself for a man here and there, here and there. She came to the point that she didn't know who she was. And I'm talking about physical changes, you know. At one point, I couldn't recognize because she changed so much on her face that I didn't even know when was real her. So again, like, and what happened was that guy, they split up. Why? Because she lost herself. She was already not an individual. She was just a project that she was trying to fix up because she thought that he would like her more because of that. So no, that's not tolerated. Again, honesty is not bad, you know, like um like I had a friend, she was dating this guy, and he, I don't know, I don't want to speak bad about people I don't know, but he had some kind of issues with hygiene. So he would not take shower for a couple of days or something, and she changed that in him. She would tell him how important it is for her, so he started, you know. It's one thing to be honest about something that you can change, another thing when it's something that you could not change. I would not go for a short and not very tall man and in hopes that he will do something about this. How is he going to do something about it? So that's what it is. I wouldn't tolerate, and I wouldn't want anybody else to tolerate. Again, something that you can change, yes. Something that you but something that's not changeable. Like if somebody has a bad breath, I would mention this. I mean, probably some problems with digestive system or with teeth, but look, if a man has a crooked teeth, I mean, it's like real work to do. So if he's not really feeling like doing it, I mean, who am I to tell him to do that? It's not, it wouldn't be right. So again, and I wouldn't tolerate that either. All right. So the next one that I would not, and you know what? Let me tell you something. When a man thinks that he will motivate you, it's not a motivation. This is really making you doubting yourself. Okay, so the next thing that I would not tolerate, and this is with feminine man again, is men who are saying something like, "Oh, I know you deserve better, but this is all I can do for you, or this is all I can be for you," or something like that. Look, you know what? I don't need to hear this, because when a man something says something like this, it prompts me to kind of to prove to him that he's enough. And I don't want to prove anybody anything. I want him to try to step up, you know. Like for example, a long time ago, I was dating this guy, and he was working 9 to 5. His salary was set, you know. He didn't have much ambitions. He didn't had no kind of, and I was very young, so I was very ambitious. He was just basically satisfied with what he had, and that's it. And he would always tell me, we were dating, I was always telling him my dreams, how I want this and this, and he's like, "Oh my god, you deserve so much better. I'm not the guy for you. I'm not." And me, with all my heart, I was trying to prove him that he was good enough, that he can be. You know what? It was dragging for a couple of years, and then I realized, yeah, you know what? I do deserve somebody more, at least somebody more ambitious. So again, do not, I would not tolerate this no more. If a man is not stepping up, is not doing something, then maybe he's right. Maybe I do deserve somebody, or at least I would not try to prove myself to him. Um, so yeah, often, as I mentioned, it is a manipulation. It's a manipulation for you to try to prove to him that he's again to validate him when he's maybe not enough, you know. But again, it was my mistake. Why would I be with the man who is not making more than me at that time? Or why would I be with the man who doesn't have this much ambitions as I had? So again, it wasn't me, and I was trying to prove him that he was enough. Why? I don't know. Again, but I wouldn't do that. If a man is saying, "Yeah, you deserve all the best, but I could not give you," okay, yeah, then I'm making a choice. Should I stay with him, or should I basically allow other men to be in my life, or just leave him and see other men? Okay, so the next thing that I wouldn't tolerate is, and this is a pain point for me, I would say, is when a man is basically pushing everything on my emotions. When he's like, "Oh, you're too emotional. Is it the time of the month?" I don't have men like this no more in my life. I don't, but I used to. And I didn't like it. I never liked it. You know why? Because maybe I had this inferiority complex about my emotions. So I always thought, yeah, maybe I'm too emotional. Maybe he's right. You know what? I'm too emotional. That's why you like me. So quiet about that. Never mention this, and make sure that my emotions are always up. make sure that you're doing everything possible that my emotions are up. This is a pain point, honestly, because I always attracted masculine men who were not emotional, and they would have issues that I'm too emotional suddenly, when honestly it is it's it's this is exactly what you liked about me, that I am emotional. Why my emotions are amazing, you are enjoying it, and you just don't like it when they are not. So again, usually I become my emotions become negative when I don't feel secure. And whose fault is that if I'm next to a man and I don't feel secure? Maybe yours. So again, I would not do that. If a man, luckily for me, for many years the man never mentioned any kind of that I'm emotional, thankfully, maybe because I'm finally not embarrassed that I'm emotional. So but before, but if that would happen, that would not do for me. I am a woman, I'm emotional, and that's why you like me. That's why you like women, because they're emotional. That's what it is. So don't pretend to be something. Take my emotions and make sure that they are good. I really admire men that are doing something too. All right, so what else? Let me see. um Okay, so this one I shouldn't even mention, but I will really fast. I wouldn't tolerate a man who is not sure what we are. I already mentioned it, but who keeps me like in a hanging position. We're not really boyfriend girlfriend. We're not fiance. So like I would not tolerate. I don't have patience for that unless it suits me at this moment. No, if a man does not is not prepared to give me some kind of status, then I understand that. He's not seen me as worthy of him and his time. Yep, true. So I wouldn't. I'm not even going to. I already mentioned this. So this is something that I would not tolerate. No, I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be. Um, I'm not going to be filling up the empty space until you find somebody better. That will not do. I don't have much ego, but the much as I have, I would not like. There are men who love me. Why would I be with a man who is basically just waiting for something better? So that will not do. Okay. This I also mentioned comparing me to other women to motivate me. This happened only one time to me, and that never worked. And I was very upset. I didn't break up with the guy, but I would not tolerate it now. And that was I was working, and I was working a lot. And the man used to go to the gym, so he didn't work that much, and he would go to the gym, and he would always tell me, "Oh, there is these girls. I really admire them. They go to the gym." So he wanted to motivate me, but hey. You know what? I'm working. When I was so, I actually got the membership, and I used to go on the weekends. I would overexhaust myself for no reason, honestly. I never I looked good, and I needed to work less, not work out more. That would make me anyways, it was not enough, and we broke up. But still, I would not tolerate being compared to some randomest woman that whose lifestyle is different than mine. Again, if you think that they are better, try, give them a shot, and just don't bother me, the same as I wouldn't do to a man. If I wouldn't be telling him, "Oh, you know what, this guy is more masculine than you are." Okay, he is, but I'm with you, so I obviously like you more. So I would not do that. I already mentioned this. Will not even hang too long. Okay. This one is very important. So I would not tolerate and be with the man who talks bad about others. So I do not believe anybody should talk bad about others, but especially when a man talks bad about his exes, about other women, about somebody who is weaker than him. I don't think it's worthy of any man, and I do not feel good about that. If a man speaks bad about his ex, I know he's going to be speaking bad about me. There should be a level of respect, and I always respect men who respect their exes. Like you were in the relationship with that woman, you were intimate with her. How could you speak bad about her, no matter what she did? I mean, it's always the fault of two. Like my exes. Yes, there was some bad blood, some hard feelings, but there was happiness too. So why would I be talking bad about? So anyways, I would not tolerate a man who speaks bad about anybody, especially somebody close to him, about his parents or about his exes or anybody else. I wouldn't. Be strong, be a man, suck it up, and at least have decency to speak good about those people that were making your life better at one point. So I would not tolerate that, because like that saying, people that gossip with you will gossip about you. So the same thing, if a man speaks bad about his ex, chances are very high he will speak bad about you too, and I don't really want this. It's very important. It's as important as you go to a restaurant and see how they treat the wait staff, the same. Nobody's better, nobody's worse. I would not tolerate that. I wouldn't even be with a man who is like that. It's just strange. I wouldn't even be friends with people who are like this. Okay, I understand maybe a woman sometimes speaks bad about her man. I would tolerate maybe a little bit because I know she's emotional. I know it hurts her. I know this is the pain point. But when a man is, this is a little too much. Okay, I spoke about that. I think I did. I mentioned all of them. Yeah, I think I mentioned all of them. So let me just sum it up. We're almost done. If you have questions, do ask. But I hope it makes sense. I hope you. I hope you agree with me. I hope you would not tolerate that. I hope you see the point. I mean, obviously, I'm not like, I would not just stop talking to a man because he said something, because he forgot my birthday. I wouldn't. I would give a chance, because again, there is three reasons why a man would act like this. Why would he do so? The first reason is he doesn't know me yet. I don't know him yet too. So I'm not sure what he expects, what he doesn't expect. He doesn't know the same about me. So obviously, he's trying to kind of to push the boundaries to see how far he can go. It's up to me whether I will allow him or not. But I also understand that not everybody can understand me and understand my life, my standards, my family, and everything. So it takes time. I understand that, as long as he is trying. And the second reason is, why would he act like this? Is when he doesn't really care about me. He doesn't care whether I will stay or not around. And I also understand that. And you know what? It's better if we will just become friends, and that's it. I don't want to take somebody's spot. And the third reason that this could happen is because we have different standards, and I wouldn't push somebody to change their standards or to change their lifestyle just for me. But as long as you're honest, I mean, again, we can just stay cool friends or just acquaintances. Again, I hope you understand this. But if it continues, this behavior continues, then it would be a deal breaker for me. So I understand that somebody might not know what I want or what I don't like, or how I am in life. But if I mention this to you and you keep repeating this and you keep doing this, then you're just you're just stupid, I guess. I don't know what to tell. Why would somebody do something that bothers me? All right, so really fast. I would not tolerate if a man forgets any kind of important date and will try to make a joke out of it. We'll try to diminish that kind of event. We'll try to laugh it off or something. So forgetting is okay. Not making it up is not okay. I would not tolerate anybody who disrespects my family, my friends in the conversation. Like remember. These people are important for me. Yes, maybe they are not ideal, maybe they are not, I think everybody who surrounds me is ideal, honestly, but maybe for somebody they are not. But for me, these are important people, and I would not want to choose between you and them. I'll choose them every moment. Another thing that I would not tolerate, when there is no clear communication, when a man is like, oh, I don't know, I will see what I can do, and make me hanging there. I mean, if it's something not important, if I'm telling him I want a huge diamond, okay, this is not a kind of if I will get it or not get it. I mean, it's not really affecting my life that much. But if I'm asking him, are we going to hang out on my day off or not? And he's like, well, I don't know. I will let you know later. Okay, you know what? I don't have that many days off. I will make sure that I'm doing something. And it's up to you. Next time you will more specific with your answer. So I would not tolerate that. Again, doesn't mean that I will break up with somebody, but I would not. But I will make it clear that it will not work. All right. So another thing that I would not tolerate is when a person is trying to make a joke about, oh, there are other women, and maybe I should start dating somebody. Okay, go date. That's it. This conversation will be very brief. And if a man is not planning anything for us, anything in his life, then again, this will not do. Why? Because I simply don't need a man who doesn't really has a control over his life, that doesn't try to impress me. Why would I even be with somebody like that? I wouldn't tolerate a feminine man who become super emotional, jealous, possessive, manipulative, but doesn't do nothing for me to change. Then look, we don't need to be together. If a man is like, oh, I think you like this one better, maybe I do, because he's not bothering me with this BS. So this is I would not tolerate this. I don't like jealousy. I think people are very weak when they're jealous. I don't like this. I don't like it in me. Why should I like it in a man? Then I wouldn't tolerate when a man makes me feel bad about my standards, my desires and wishes. That man doesn't need to be in my life. You don't have to provide for me, but you don't need to make me feel bad. I would not tolerate a man who compares me to women, significant women in his life, in his past. So, for example, maybe his exes or his mom or whoever else. I'm me, they're them. You made a choice. Look, if I'm not on their level, then maybe we just need to break up. I'm not competing with nobody, no ghost from the past. I would not be with the man who, well, I will be very particular, and I would observe a man who only shows affection to me when we are outside of the public eye. Again, I would see, why is that happening? Is he always like this, or is he only like this with me? And what is the reason behind that? Again, he might be very religious or very cultural. I understand this. As I said, I'm not very I don't like showing affection in public myself, but again, there is a limit. So I would be careful with that. And from here, if a man is not, if he's super social on social media but never posts me anywhere, never mentions me. Somebody asks him, "Are you single?" and he's like, "Yeah, I'm single." Okay, then I guess you will be single then. So I would also look into this again. Yeah, some men are just simply not um, into social media. That's fine, but if he is and never mentions you, then there is probably a problem. Okay, if a man also expects some kind of benefits as a girlfriend from me, or as a wife, and not giving me a status, then that's also, I would not tolerate that. I wouldn't do. I wouldn't even take it serious. You're getting what you claiming for, so that's it. And from here, I would not be staying in a in a relationship where I'm not sure who I am for years and years. I mean, if you are not ready to claim me, and this is usually a couple months. Masculine men always know what you are within like very short period of time. Then I'm not sticking around to convince you otherwise. This would not do. I would not tolerate a man who is telling something like, "Oh, you deserve better." Yeah, I deserve better, because this would make me try to prove him that he's better. Then no, that's not, that won't do for me, that won't do for him either. So no. All right, so what else I would not do? I would not be with the man who is depending on his emotions. Could be very affectionate or very cold. Look, do it with somebody else. I could not do it. I'm manager war. I can do it myself. So I need somebody who's consistent with, say, his emotions and his affections at all times. I don't say that you need to be all lovey-dovey all the time, but you have to be consistent with what you're saying. I would not tolerate a man who would call me too emotional, or who would blame anything that I say or do on me being a woman, or me being too emotional. Something. Yes, I am a woman. That's why we're together. That's why you're with me. Be happy that I'm a woman. Thankfully, So and I would not do this. One mention, I would tell you that this it's not right, and the second, if you will say something again, I mean, I guess those emotions will not be bothering you again. I would not tolerate it, and you shouldn't tolerate, and you should not apologize. You shouldn't be saying, "Oh yes, I know, it's just this week, right before my Women's Days, I'm always like this. I'm sorry." Look, unless you are acting completely out of your mind, crazy, you should not be apologizing. This is a normal thing for a woman. Remember, women ruled by the moon, so moon changes its sign every 2-3 days, so you could not be consistent all the time. It just doesn't make no sense. You are what you are. Be proud for that. Be proud that you're a woman who changes with the moon, who is like this. It's very powerful, and be proud of that. A man will be proud of that as well. So anyways, but I would not tolerate that, obviously. That's understood. What else? Criticizing your looks, my looks, and trying to kind of to hint that, what, maybe a little bit more over here would be better, a little bit over here would be better, or less or more, or something. You are not a project. A man liked you as you are. He came to your life because you look like this. Stop changing yourself. Who knows? He might not like you. So stick to your individuality. Be you. If you want to change something, do it because you want to change it. You feel like you need to change it, not because a man told you something that he would prefer if you would have, I don't know, longer fingers or something. So again, big no. I would not be, and you shouldn't be either. This is not motivation. This is really very, very, very hurtful. I wouldn't be with the man who talks bad about women, especially women in his life that were in his life. I would never be with the man who talks bad about his ex. Like, you can say what bothered you, but don't talk bad about her. Like my brother, he's divorced, but I admire him. He never speaks. I don't know really why they are not together. He speaks so highly about his ex-wife that I always think, why aren't you guys together? I admire him that he has courage enough to keep it, to keep this good, like that he speaks greatly about the woman that was in his past, the mother of his child. So it's very important, very important. I wouldn't be with a man who speaks bad about women. Really, like who? What are you? I mean, how can a man allow himself to speak bad about women, especially women who made him happy at one point? So no. And if you think, oh, but she hurt him very much, yeah, because he wanted to be hurt. That's what it is. And I wouldn't be with the man who never apologizes, who never admits I knew that I missed something, that never admits his faults. I wouldn't be with the man like this. I mean, that would be just make me doubtful all the time. I wouldn't be with the man who would make a joke out of my upbringing, of my manners, my standards. Again, I am who I am. Take it or leave it. But don't make me feel any particular way. I wouldn't do it to a man, and I don't want anybody to do. All right, that's it. If there are no questions, we're done. Enjoy your Sunday. I will see you next Sunday. The new moon is on Wednesday, so I'm doing energy alignments on Thursday. If you need energy boost, let me know. I still have a couple of spots. I will put you in, but overall, enjoy your day, have fun, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye, TikTok. And by YouTube, thank you very much for being here. Let me know what I missed. Send this video to anybody who will find it useful, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye, everybody.